Mas não, né, eu não sabia. Mas eu gosto de participar.
Well, so we'll maybe wait couple of more minutes, then we can start and people are joining. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Well, so I think we can start now. I think many people are here already. People will join. So, good evening, everyone. So, today we'll discuss something. First, we'll talk about the assignments. That is the first assignment that was given. The answers are given though, but we'll discuss about that, and then we'll go to the subsequent section. That is, we will discuss something about that you taught in the second week of your course. That is mostly based on logic and reasoning, all those things. I mean, maybe we'll not be able to cover up all the sections that you taught in the second week. Maybe a few parts will be left that we'll discuss in the next week. So I'll try to cover as much as I can. Then we will solve the the assignment of the second week as well. That was given. The answers of that is also uploaded. So I hope you have done, most of you have done well. Most of you have done correct in all those things. But still, will since this is a discussion section and problem solving section, we'll try to discuss all those things. If anything is any problem is there, you can discuss. We can interact in that, and if maybe if I am not clear about something, I can get back to you sometimes later, so that will be no problem. So we'll start now. I think you all can see it, right? See my screen, right? uh, Anyone can comment?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, 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 thank you. So yeah, anyone is saying something? Okay, no. Good. Okay, so yeah. So I'll directly go to the first assignment then. So I hope you have done well there. We have all have scored. I mean, most have done correct all the things, but still we'll discuss it, right? So first question, then I'm starting then. Okay, the session. So the attributes of truth are that it is so. Can anyone comment what it will be, or and anyone please elaborate two three sentences? I mean, these are all read, right? Anyone?
Sir, truth is unique, relative, and concrete.
Okay, so you're saying that this is not absolute. Why is that? Can you just one to
Uh,
sentence explain? Just yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sir, truth is always unique thing, and
Yeah.
it cannot be absolute because you cannot fix these things. The
Uh,
truth is always remain fixed right of thing, and it will not always absolute kind of, and also it cannot be plural also.
mhm, mhm.
It is fixed kind of thing. Once it is truth, then it is truth always. There
Okay.
no nothing going to happen. You can change a condition, all that. So it must be unique, relative, and concrete.
Yeah. So why not absolute? I'm not clear about your answer. Why not absolute?
Because truth changes based upon evidence.
Yeah, that is true. Like, so any, I mean, so whatever is anything that is being researched or anything, so it's kind of ever changing. It is when it is truth, but it can change. The truth is based upon the knowledge upon at this moment that we know. Based upon that, that is true. But it can change, or anything that any phenomena or anything that can change. So that's why it is not absolute. It can, there is a scope of changing all the time. So that's why this is not absolute, but yeah, what he said that
Absolute, sir. Absolute means fixed kind of thing.
yes, it cannot
Yeah.
be
Yes.
fixed.
Yes.
Yes, yes, you're right. So that's why I'm saying that it is unique, uh, relative and concrete, right? So this, it absolutely, it is not plural. It cannot be. Truth is only one thing, and so yeah. So that was the first question. I think that is okay. I think you all are okay with that. That is the easiest one. So it's unique, relative, and concrete. Now I'll come to the second question. The position of idealism is that. Uh, so you just read and please comment. Anyone except who has given the answer last time. So please, this is a discussion section. Please, it's better. Please come. The position of idealism is that, yeah, please.
The second one, idea is prior and matter is second.
Okay. Could you explain one to line, one to sentence? I think that will make it clear to all. I think. Anyone?
Yeah. No, material exists because of my idea, what I think. So first my idea comes and then the matter comes.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I mean that thing that we have read last day also, that idealism and materialism. So the position of here you're talking about idealism. So
Only idea is given priority is there, and material is secondary one. Hence,
yep,
there is a answer will be the idea is prior,
yep.
and matter will be a secondary thing, and all the non-material entities in the world also.
Yes, that is true. I mean that I was coming. So that is, I mean the so you here you're clear that the multiple options are there. So yeah. So first thing is the thing that idea is prior and matter is secondary. And the second thing is uh, the non-material entities. I mean there are non-material entities in the world. Matter exists in our consensus. So all these three points are right. So that I think you have explained well. So this were now okay. Now I'm coming to the third question. The position of materialism is, so this is just the opposite, the ulta.
Right?
You can see clearly. So
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so it will be please pronounce, I think will be better. Anyone else?
So first option, matter exists independent of our consciousness, and the world is composed of matter, nothing but matter. Both are options.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, so this is pretty simple. Like this is just the opposite of the thing. So yeah, the matter exists in independent of consensus, and the world is composed of matter and nothing but matter. This is the problem. Yeah, so this I'll not go in detail in that because we have discussed enough, I think, for this materialism and idealism. Why can't people join it? So now I'll come to this, the fourth question, the method of science based on yeah, this is bit tricky. Yeah, please.
Objective materialism.
Okay.
Objective materialism.
Yeah, please then explain. I need some explanation for this. This is important. Please, first you just tell me what is objective materialism, just one sentence or something, and then just elaborate little.
Observable, testable.
Yeah. Okay. Then please elaborate.
It is not personal observation but collective observation.
Okay. Then how come the materialism is coming? Okay, Ravindra Shende is answering that there are
Because
non-material
it is the
entities.
study of the physical world.
Hmm. Yeah. Carry on.
It is a study of physical world which composed of matter.
Yeah. So yeah, you all, you're right. Like, whatever you're thinking, that is correct. So, basically, materialism, that is important, because science not only about idea without any material thing that is not present, and objective. I think you understood, that is the ideal thing is coming, like idea, and then the consecution of execution of that. So that's why it is we can describe as objective materialism. So yeah, that is right. Now we'll go to the next page. Yeah. So Mills method we have discussed enough, right? Last day. So this will be pretty easy. Which of the Mills method did Becquerel employ to conclude that the presence of potassium uranyl sulfate is the cause of radiation? Uh, yeah, please.
Method of agreement.
Sorry, method of.
Agreement.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that is correct actually. So you can see the I can see the answer though. Yeah, the method of agreement. So uh, this story is pretty interesting. Like, how did Becquerel do all these things? Becquerel, and then I think Marie Curie also came. So in there, I think we can discuss a little bit here, a little bit more. So so they have probably used all the methods. So there are four methods, right? So method of concomitant variation. Okay. Method of concomitant variation, method of agreement, method of difference, and the method of residue. So these four methods are there. So so through these experiments of this radioactivity, Professor Becquerel and Professor Marie Curie, all they've used all the methods. So now we can discuss a little bit about that, and you can then answer. What is it? This is one of the questions that you know. So the story started something like when the X-ray was discovered by Röntgen. So after that, so when this X-ray was discovered, then with this French chemist, Professor Becquerel, he noticed this thing, and then he thought that something is some phosphorescence materials are there. So phosphorescence, right? Phosphorescence is some material, uh, or phosphorescence is not a material. Phosphorescent or material rather. Phosphorescence is a phenomenon. So phosphorescence is some material, so that harvest energy from sunlight, and then that glow even in the dark. So that is kind of the phosphorescence. So it harvests energy from a source, and that it emits the energy. So in that emitting, it glows, or it shows some kind of light. So we suspected that this could be related to phosphorescence. So then what happened, that he tried to started doing different experiments to understand what is happening in that case. So at that point of time, potassium uranyl sulfate, that was known to be as radioactive. Okay. Now, so what he did, so uh, he took this phosphorescent material, as he assumed this potassium sulfate, and then he covered that with a black paper, and on a photographic plate. So photographic plate, you all know, that is used for this. Just a minute. So yeah, so then what happened, he later found out that in the plate became dark or black. So something was going on, that he assumed, and then later he revealed that some mineral samples were also, like the coins or metal like cutouts, are interposed between this crystal and the paper wrapping, that he found out in the later part. So at that point, he stopped the experiment. Why? Because the days became cloudy and no sunlight was there, so that's why he kept all these things inside his drawer. So when sun actually came out, so instead of, he took out the sample, and what he did, instead of uh, placing the potassium iron sulfate out in the sun, he first developed the photographic plates. And what is surprised that the photographic plates turned black. Although, so I mean, why it was surprising? Because all it was not exposed to the radiation even, because the sunlight was not there. So this discovery, he later, they found out that the importance of these chance factors can be grasped only by some trained mind, like who knows about the phenomena, what is going on. So that's why Becquerel then systematically categorized all the experiments and found out uh, that so yeah, so in systematic, he done all the experiments, and with this exposing all the things in the sunlight, and not exposing also. And what he found out, the so whether he was actually looking by exposing to the sunlight these photographic plates and the material, and not exposing, whether there is any kind of difference he could decipher or not. But he did not find any difference. So here he conducted another experiment following the method of agreement that was asked here. So that is, he deliberately created a different condition, and only the aspect in which the conditions agreed was the existence of potassium uranyl sulfate. So only that presence of that material, and apart from that, and so what he found out, as a result of that, he found out whenever that material was present, like this potassium uranyl sulfate, only that time it was showing radioactivity and radiation was prominent. So from that, so that's why it is method of agreement. From that, he confirmed that this is potassium uranyl sulfate is radioactive in nature. Okay, so that was the first experiment, and here you can see that Mills method was used. That was done by Becquerel. So after that point of time, Marie Curie came in the picture. So what she did, so so now it was known that potassium uranyl sulfate is radioactive. So Marie Curie took or thought that what was the cause of this radioactivity? Yeah, these are radioactive. These emits radiation. That is okay. But what is the cause of this radioactivity? This is the nature of the compound, particular composition like potassium uranyl sulfate, or this is an elementary property like of either it's a potassium or from uranyl or from sulfur. That was not sure about that time. So that's why she did some elementary analysis and elementary experiments also, not elementary only, elementary analysis of the compounds, as well as done some experiments of taking different elements. Okay, so what did she done? She took different compounds of potassium, uranium, and sulfur, and started and analyzed them, their whether they are radioactive or not. So from there, what she has found out that whenever, if uranium is not there, so at that point these are not radioactive. Only when uranium is present, that time uh, these are radioactive. So what can we call it then? What Mills method it can come under? Can anyone comment? So the clause is that only when uranium is present, at that point it is showing radioactivity. In other cases, these are not at all radioactive. So then, please comment. Anyone?
Method of residue.
Okay. So, someone is saying method of residue. Yeah, method of different, method of agreement. Okay.
Method of agreement.
Okay. Anyone else want to try?
Method of agreement.
Okay. Uh, no, I think only one guy has given the right answer. That is, yeah, Sidram Guled. So this is method of difference. So you understand, right? Only when this is not present at that point of time.
Absence of one is causing other,
Yes,
that kind of
yes.
thing.
Absence of that material is causing the non-radioactive phenomena. So only when it is present at that point of time, it is causing radioactivity. So that's why it is method of difference. So till now, two methods is already employed: method of agreement, method of difference. So both are opposite. Now these are employed. Now I'm coming to the next section. So what she did then, she took different compounds of these things, and then so these are checked. So then once it was concluded that method of this is only uranium that is radioactive. So what she did, that she took different compounds of uranium, and what she did, she varied the composition or the amount of uranium in each of the compound, and then he shot sorry uh, see. So she found out that what is happening is, she found out that the radioactivity is increasing each time this amount of uranium was increasing. The radioactivity was increasing. So now please tell me what it can be, what method it can be. With the increment of the amount of uranium, the radioactivity was increasing. So yeah.
Method of concomitant variation.
Instead of concomitant,
Yes, yes. So this is easy, right?
concomitant.
Yes, because this is linearly
There is a
related.
direct relation between the two things. So one is
Yes,
increasing, other is also increasing. So that
other is,
we, and there is a relation between them.
yes. That's why it is method of concomitant variations.
Yes.
Uh okay. Anyone was saying anything? Sorry. Anyone said anything? Please repeat. Okay. So now three methods are already used: concomitant variations, agreement, difference. So now the point was that the elemental analysis was done. It was confirmed that only uranium was radioactive. So now the question was whether only uranium. So because till now, it was known that potassium uranyl sulfate, that was the known radioactive material, and from that they have analyzed the she has analyzed the compound as well as the elements of that compound. So from that, she has confirmed that uranium is radioactive. Now the question she asked, that whether only uranium is radioactive or there are some other things or other what should I say, other elements are present there in nature that are also radioactive. Excuse me. So so what she did, she took different compounds containing, so it is not random, might be there should be some kind of, what should I say, some kind of rationality was there. Based upon that, she took some different compounds and measured the radioactivity in each of the compounds. And in some cases, the compounds were radioactive, and in some cases, they did not. So she found that all the other in all other conditions re- being same, radiation was only observed in presence of the metal uranium and thorium. Thorium is addition. So from here, so but she confirmed that presence of along with the presence of uranium, thorium is also responsible for this kind of radioactivity. So, so can anyone explain what I mean what method is employed here?
Method of residue.
Okay, could you explain why are you saying that? Because method of residue. So the conclusion, let me clarify first. The conclusion is that she has done a lots of experiments. She has taken different compounds and elements as well. and she has analyzed, and she found out that only when thorium and uranium are present, that time this radioactivity is showing, and once they are not there, these are not showing radioactivity. So now you please answer. Are you?
In such a condition, we know the effects of the precedent or preceding factors. Like suppose B is caused by the factors A, B, and C and D, and I know that A, B, and C can cause this type of things. Okay, so
Yeah.
but we are seeing after that we are seeing that B is not confirming that results. So only D is present, which is not coming under this, so that is a residue I can say, and that is the we can conclude that D is the cause of this whole thing.
Yeah, so your, I mean, your thinking is okay, but the problem is that at that point of time, it was not known that which was the cause of what. Only uranium was known, and others were not known. Okay, so what she has observed that only she has found out uranium as well as thorium. That was the discovery, but so the conclusion was that only
They were
when,
giving, sorry, they were
sorry.
giving those elements you're
Mhm.
talking about. They were giving more radioactive effect than the uranium. Uranium was giving the radioactivity. These
Mhm.
two elements, we call the residues. They were giving more radioactivity
Mhm.
effect than the radium, than the uranium.
Yeah, so the
That's why it
conclusion
is
is
probability.
that's why it's method of residue.
Concluding that
Okay,
method residues.
okay. No, the problem is that I would have called it method of residue if only that, I mean, only that thorium was already known to him or her rather, because thorium was not known to her. But what she later found out that only when uranium and thorium are present, that time these are showing radioactivity, not in other cases. Once they are not present, so that time they are not showing radioactivity. I could have called it
Yeah,
radioactivity method of residue if that she this all these elements were known to her, and then she could not find that this is radioactive. Okay, these are all matching. These are not. Now this is only remaining, and so this is that's why it is method of residue. But it is not the case. What she found out that once when these are not present, not I mean those are not showing radioactivity. So that's why this is pretty close to residue, but this will be method of difference. So okay, so I think it will be clear if you once again think that will be clear. Now I'm going forward. So what she did that after that, after this, she thought that whether any other radioactivity is, I mean, material is there or not. So then again, she found out the components of different materials, and so the interesting part was that till at that moment she concluded that okay, uranium and thorium are radioactive. So if I take any compound that contains both uranium and thorium, so then the overall radioactivity of that compound or the mixture of these compounds will be the summation of the individual radioactivity of uranium and thorium. So that's why she has done lots of experiments and different compounds of uranium and thorium she mixed, and so interestingly, in all the cases this matched. In all the cases, in most of the, I mean, in all the cases, not most of the cases, all the cases it matched except one case, that is pitch blende. In case of pitch blende, she found out the radioactivity where uranium and thorium both are present, the overall radioactivity of this pitch blende that was surpassing the individual summation of these individual components. So then she analyzed that, and from there she has found out that actually it came later that the other components like polonium and radium, especially radium, so these two were generated from there, and she found out that she observed that since some additional component is coming, so So there must be some other radioactive component that is present inside this apart from these two. So that's how she concluded that okay, some other material is there, and from there she has this radium and polonium are discovered. So now this you can call under method of residue. Why? Because here all those are known, right? Like uranium and thorium are known, and the elemental analysis were also done. Now only the difference is that some extra element was there that was not known. This is the difference of these two methods, like with the previous and the this one. In the previous case, she examined different components containing uranium and not containing uranium also even. So there is no, I mean, only it was the fact was known. Only fact was known that is uranium is radioactive. So she was in search of other element that can be radioactive. But here she started. Someone is trying to say anything.
Sir,
Okay. So
please show the question which we are discussing.
sorry. Hello. I didn't get your point. Like, can you repeat?
Sir, you are discussing the question which is not displayed. Okay.
Oh, this is not any question actually. So what the thing is that this is the extensive extension story of this experiment done by Becquerel and Marie Curie. So this was the question that is
Okay.
already discussed, method of agreement. Now I'm discussing the subsequent
Okay,
section.
sir. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so that is the difference. Like in that case, all are, I mean, she didn't know anything, only uranium was known. So that's why that is now she observed the radioactivity in thorium as well. Now this uranium and thorium became radioactive, and after that she analyzed that except these two nothing is radioactive. So presence of these matters, so that's why it was method of difference. Now when I'm coming to this question, or rather this part of discovery, so here, the point was there was known that radium and thorium and uranium are radioactive. Now she was just checking whether the combination of both are uh, the radioactivity amount are same in all the cases or not. So in that case, she found out one material or two material rather, radium and polonium. So that's why here the cause of this unknown radioactivity was not known. So that's why these are method of residue eliminated all the possibilities and found and concluded that there must be some other element that is causing the excess radioactivity that is surpassing the combination of uranium and thorium. So that's why these are coming under the method of residue. So these are the four what would I say, four residue or four methods, four Mills method that were used for the discovery of these radioactive materials that that own what, four, five, six Nobels, I think. So for these particular discoveries, I think two. So later, I think Marie Curie's daughter, so she also got the Nobel Prize. So yeah, so now we are coming. I think this part is more or less clear to you that how important is Mills method for, or how important factor is those in deriving some experiments in science rather. Okay, so now I'm coming to the next question. We have discussed, I think, enough. So, yeah. So, which are the four cases? Question number six. Behind any event and that is proposed by Aristotle. So, yeah. Now I can answer for this. So, these are easy, right? This is knowledge based. Yes.
Last option, sir. D.
Last option.
Okay.
Material cause, formal cause, efficient cause, and final cause.
Yes. So this is easy. Material cause, formal cause, efficient cause, and final cause. So here the first. These are the four propositions given by Aristotle. That was the first proposition in the history. This is also easy. Hume's criteria of causality were. So we discussed, right? So yeah, anyone? How many were there that we discussed?
Second option.
Second option you're saying.
Second,
Okay.
second one.
Precedence, contiguity.
Precedence, conjunctivity, and constant conjugation.
Yes, right. That is true. Precedence, contiguity, and constant conjugation. Yeah. Uh, Now coming to the next question, there is a Mill's method. This is John Stuart Mill's method of ascertaining the cause of phenomena or event. So, so these we have already discussed. I don't want to ask even you, like method of constant conjugation, method of concomitant variation, agreement, residue, and difference. So these are the four. No need to ask. Now, please mute yourself. Anyone who can mute. What is the philosophical concept of matter? Here you can answer. Yeah. Yeah, please answer. You unmute now.
Third, third option, sir. Not is anything that exists independent of our consciousness.
Your voice is not clear, I think. Others can hear him? Or
There's a lot of background disturbances.
yes.
Somebody has opened their mic, sir. So that is why it is disturbing.
No, I think someone who was giving the answer, her background is pretty problem. Yeah, now it is clear. Someone please answer now. Yeah. Okay.
Rajni Kurekar, there's a lot of noise from her thing. Rajni.
Okay, Rajni, please mute yourself. I think there's a lot of background noise there, so people are facing problem. Yeah. Now it is clear. Okay, so please.
Answer is three.
Matter is anything that exists independent of our consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, so this is also matter is anything that exists independent of our consciousness. Now, well, we are coming to the close. Last question: what is the cause of the growth of a seed into a sapling? So,
It's the
existence of
fourth
Last
one.
one.
water.
A and
Sorry,
B.
yeah, existence of
Both.
water,
A, B
existence
pairs
of
taken
air.
Last
taken
one.
together.
Okay, A and B. Someone said
No, A, B and C taken together. The
Answer
yes.
last.
is
C took
A,
it.
B, and C taken together in a cause.
Yes, because seas this
Yeah,
temperature
because
phenomena is also required apart from water and air. So that's why A, B, and C.
because they are the factors.
The all three are the factors. So now I think
So I have a doubt in this.
yes, please.
The last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is common sense, like all this is a factor. But somewhere in the video I saw the teacher saying like only one thing leads to this. No, that is what is logical thinking. So if you
Yeah.
say that it should be any one, it should be like individual cause. But logic, I mean, common sense is everything. But in the video I saw like one,
This.
what happened just before that should be identified as a cause. So maybe I'm wrong, but I just want a clarification.
So that is a cause that I understand. So I mean, I didn't understand what is your point. Like, so you're saying that I mean, only one
There
will
are
be the cause, not all, right? And
Madam was telling that there is a only one cause for the effect,
mm-hmm.
but here three causes were taken: existence of water, existence of air, and the temperature. Right range of temperature has taken. That have created some confusion. But what they have explained in the video is
Mm-hmm.
that when there are multiple reasons for a single phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
so we should not take them as individual causes because there is only one cause for an effect. So we should take it as the factors responsible for a phenomenon.
Yes.
So the factors may be one or two or many. So all together is a cause, a single cause. Like that we have to take.
Yes, yes. So that is the thing, na. So all three factors are there that will act as a cause for the effect of this sapling of the seeds. I think, I mean, these are okay. So all right. So now we are closing the assignment one section. Now we'll come to few of the things in that was there in the second week's video. So that is depending upon this cause and all those things. So, okay. So first one is I'll talk about this logic. You know all these things. I'll just go one by one with the definition because that will help us in solving the problems. Uh, so
So,
first one is
excuse me. Excuse me.
yes, yes.
So it is showing on the screen that the answer is incorrect. That is red one. What is that? Uh,
So
uh,
it is nothing. It is just the format that is given there. You have seen it
okay,
already,
that is a
right?
format.
Yes, yes.
I was I was
No,
shocked
no,
to see
no,
because the
no, no,
answers
no.
were correct and I
It
thought
is
the
a
individually they are. But this,
it is format until you submit, or even if you submit, so it shows like no answer is incorrect. So it is just their
but then,
format.
sir, one question and doubt is that because I had gone all these videos
Mhm.
and the answers they are a little bit confusing, right? Like in the case of first that the truth is unique. I think the only absolute that was not correct, but then it is given in the video that
No,
it is unique, concrete. Even
three are
the
there.
plural was also given this. So then it is confusing.
Plural was not given, right? What I remember, if I remember correctly. So answer is unique, relative, and concrete. Plural and
No,
absolute
no.
are
Absolute is
I
not
have
there. Yes,
also
yes, yes. Absolute is not
I
there.
have
That's
also I have also had the problem that we thought that only there will be only one answer for the question. Later we came to that we have to answer multiple answers. We have to take the multiple answers which are correct answers. But we thought that there is a multiple choice question, so we have to answer only one question, one answer for that. So that thing was there in the earlier assignment what we had. So
mhm.
later we came to know that there are multiple answers. We have to tick the multiple answers.
Okay. I think then you are confused. You are confused that there was no proper guideline or no proper statement was there. That is
Uh,
okay.
in
So
the
yeah.
beginning, later
exactly.
in the discussions, we came to know that that is the
Mhm.
thing. But by the time we have submitted the first
Yeah, I understand. Like
assignments. Mm.
Uh, yeah, but I think what I can understand from here that you should be able to understand that these are matching with multiple things. So then, I mean, then
Mm.
you could have write back to a course instructor, or so. Then I think it would have been clarified. But yeah, I mean, if it was there, so then that was a problem. But I hope now you have understood. So from the next
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, I have
it will be
understood.
yes, yes.
Sir, wherever squares are given, that is multiple answer question.
But not
Uh,
not is like that. You know, all the answers in the rectangle they are correct.
Yeah,
Some
so
of them.
so their
Uh,
confusion is it is not mentioned correctly. It is not mentioned in verbatim. So that is the problem. So okay, I think, I mean, that is a fair confusion, and I hope from the next you have not done that. What he has found out that is actually true, that when it is a square box, these are multiple. When it is a round box, so then at that point of time it is these are same. So I think
Sir,
now you
question number 9. Just
yeah.
so the question number 9, sir.
Mhm.
Sir, in that lecture, I have seen that something may be unknown today, but everything in this material world is knowable. So that's why I means give that answer that matter is anything that is knowable.
Matter is anything that is knowable.
That is knowable. So in lecture, I have heard that something
Yeah,
may be unknown today, but everything in this material world is knowable.
yeah, that is correct. But that is, I mean, if you look at the options here, that will not perfectly fit. So matter is anything that exists independent of our consensus, consciousness. So that will be the case. Now, I think uh, I don't know, like, but that is the case. If you
So
put
that's why a little bit confused, sir.
No, that knowable is also given in that. Knowable is also given that. And the most test was given that the matter is independent of the cautious consciousness. But
But
then this
how
option was
do I
also
know
there.
that thing that which answer is correct or which one which
That's what I'm saying. No, that's why
uh,
that is all confused.
Yeah,
Then
that is
there
the
is some
confusion.
and the in lecture
they are
video.
all confusing questions, sir.
Yeah, this is bit I mean, I agree with you that this is bit confusing, but yeah, so since this is a single, so now it is clear that since these are round boxes, I mean, round spheres, rounds are there, so then the single answer question, then you have to choose the I mean, the proper one. So that's why I'm saying that you have to go to the best one, that is best possible options that is there. So
And that question was also confusing. I was listening to you. This as the Marie Curie, she performed that experiment. That is the emission of the radioactivity. So
mhm.
all the four methods they were included in that.
Mhm.
But then uh, nobody can think that the question, the answer will be of all the
No,
four
no.
methods.
Here, what question was given in here? Only one answer was there. That was method of agreement. But
Agreement, yeah. Uh,
yeah. So that is okay. So here also it is
uh,
given. So now I
but you
Can
will
I
explain
discussed.
that.
can I say something about question number 9?
Yes, please.
Yeah, because like idealists say like if only I see something and all that, but in materialist, the servers have been saying there are small particles which pass through our body, which is invisible, but it exists. So that is why it is matters anything which exists in independent of our consciousness. Even if I cannot see in a microscope, if I can see that exists. That is why the third option.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. So I mean, yeah, that is true. So, any confusion? Any other like? So, yeah, that is okay. Now you are saying that what you are saying. So you are saying about confused about this Marie experiment. So in that case, I would say that so these things that I discussed, that might help. That might come in the in an exam or something. So that's why I discussed all those methods. So that is the thing that they have used all the methods for a for the discovery of this radioactivity, and this is a kind of a story. So that's why I discussed that. But here the question that was asked, that was only answer was there, that is method of agreement, and that was only from Becquerel, not Marie Curie's part was there. So maybe I will discuss the assignment one questions of last year. Next week I'll try to see that whether those are really different or not. If those are all different, so I'll discuss those if some important questions are there. Try to discuss in the next class.
Sir, can you please, means in short, tell us about the method of difference and residues with respect to Marie Curie's experiment? Question number 5. Concomitant concomitant variation and agreement is clear, but slight difference means confusion between the last two options.
Okay, okay. So here, there's the which means method did Becquerel employ to conclude that presence of potassium uranyl sulfate is the cause of radiation. So here the answer is method of agreement. So what Professor Becquerel found out that the presence of potassium uranyl sulfate was the cause of this radioactivity, and that was the discovery of that, and that's why it was method of agreement. Now you're confused about the method of difference and residues. So in case of method of difference, so there are two cases. Like I said, after the discovery of this potassium uranyl sulfate, that is that it was radioactive. So Marie Curie started doing experiment that whether this is the property of elemental property or a compound property. Compound as such that potassium uranyl sulfate. All three elements are there, so that is a compound. That's a particular compound you understand, and or whether these are the property of individual potassium or uranyl sulfate. So from there, she has concluded that this is the elemental property of uranyl, not potassium. Okay. Now this was clear. So the point was that then she tried to understand that whether now it is okay. It is known that uranyl is uh, radioactive. Now she tried to
Yes.
find out whether only uranyl is radioactive or some other elements are there. So there she tried to search and analyze different compounds and elements as well. And from there she has found out one component, that is thorium. And then she concluded that only when u- uranyl, uranyl and thorium is, someone please mute yourself, is unmute. So when uranyl and thorium is present in the medium or in the component or in the compound, that time it is showing radioactivity. And when these are not present, either of these is not present, so then these are not, those are not showing radioactivity. So then she concluded, okay, so now thorium and uranium both are responsible. Since the presence of both uranium and thorium are responsible for radioactivity, it came under the method of difference. Okay, so this is the first point. Now the second thing that she had done was, uh, she was clear now that this uranium and thorium are radioactive. Okay, so it will be like that. This summation, whenever we take a compound, they are like the component, the summation of area of radioactivity of uranium and thorium will be the radioactivity of the overall compound or the combination of compounds. That should be the case if, only if, that their uranium and thorium are radioactive. No other thing is radioactive. So in all the analysis, so she has done different compound. She analyzed different compound, and she found out that in all the cases except pitch blend, in all the cases, this conclusion was correct. That one, the summation of radioactivity, summation of uranium and thorium were the radioactivity of the element or compound.
Element or compound.
Compound. Sorry, compound. So, but when in case of pitch blend, the radioactivity was surpassing the individual radioactivity of uranium and thorium. So, in that case, she has done multiple times that, and she found out the same result. And then she concluded that there must be some other radioactive element that is effect that is resulting in the excess radioactivity that is present there. So in that case, she has discovered this polonium and radium. Those two are the element that later found out that these are responsible for this excess radioactivity that was present there in the pitch blende along with uranium and thorium. So that's why, so after discarding all the possibilities, she is coming at the end and concluding that okay, one element is there, some element is there that is causing the excess radioactivity. That's why it is coming under the method of residue. So these are the basic differences, like for the method of residue or the method of reference for this Marie Curie experiment. Clear?
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So now we'll we'll go to this part. What is logic, proposition, and statement. Okay, so what is logic? The study of methods and principles used to distinguish correct from incorrect. So this is basically logic, so you have to discard the so to to unveil the truth or to reach the truth or the absolute thing, you have to go through logical analysis. So there the incorrect will be discarded and correct will be taken, and from that you will reach to the truth, and that will be called logic. So logic is the analysis of appraisal of arguments. Logic is useful tool to clarify and evaluate reasoning, whether in on deeper questions and everyday topics. So, okay. Now, second thing is proposition. Excuse me. So, proposition is a statement which is typically asserted using a declarative sentence, or like, so it is better to say first the statement. A statement is a proposition which is typically asserted by a declarative sentence, but not the sentence itself. So it can, the statement can be true or false, but it should be some kind of declaration. So that is called statement. And proposition is a statement in which typically asserted a declarative statement, and hence always either true or false, but there will be some kind of affirmation. Okay, so this is true or either true or false. That affirmation is there in the proposition, but in case of statement that is not there. So these are proposition and statement, both are very close, but uh, I mean they are categorically some different. Now, argument, inference, conclusion, and premises. So, first is argument. Argument is any group of a proposition of which one is claimed to follow from the other, which are agreed as providing support or grounds for the truth of that. Inference is the residue that you are coming after all analysis, a process by which one proposition is arrived at the affirmed at the affirmation on the basis of some kind of proposition or propositions. So this is you are discussing something, or then you are discarding one by one, and then you are coming to the logical analysis, and you are coming to the conclusion that okay, this is the cause, and so this is the effect. This effect is the cause of that. This effect is due to some that cause. So this is the inference that you are drawing. So this is inference. These things, like now the conclusion. In any argument, the proposition to which the other proposition in the argument is claimed to give support, or for which they are given as reasons. So reasonal discussion or reasonal state inference, that is called conclusion. And final is the premises that will help you to do lots of problems in coming sections. So in an argument, the propositions upon which inference is based, the propositions that are claimed to provide grounds or reasons for the conclusion. So these are the few important uh, uh, definitions that was required to mention. Now, this I'll elaborate a bit more why we need to study logic, because you can see, so logic builds mind. So these are, so the main point is that, so if you do some logical analysis, it will develop, it will help in developing analytical skills. Analytical means analyzing power of something or some phenomena, some whatever you are seeing, observing. So those things, like in law, politics, journalism, education, and in all the sectors, like this is logic is the thing that is required. You can go through these things. I will not go in detail in that way. So uh, so logical further depends our understanding for philosophy, which can be defined as reasoning about the ultimate question of life. So these are all like gyan, you understand. So if you have studied philosophy, will likely recognize some of the philosophical reasoning uh, in its book. If you don't have studied philosophy, you will find this book good in book a good introduction to the subject. In either case, you will get better at recognizing, understanding, and appraising philosophical reasoning. And finally, logical challenge your thinking. So, and in this way, it will likely help you to understand all the or analyze all the things that is going on beyond it. So, these are the things. Now, I'll come to some examples, very simple and trivial examples. First one is that you have overslept. If you oversleep, you will be late, and the phenomena or premises is that you are not late. So therefore, what will be the case? You did oversleep, you didn't oversleep, you are late, or none of the above follows. So what will be the thing? What will be the answer? The answer will be yes, you did oversleep. Okay, it means the premises are that if you overslept, you will be late, and you are not late. So the conclusion is that you did. That's why you are not late. So the answer is you did oversleep, or you didn't oversleep. What will be the answer?
No, sir.
Sorry.
No, sir.
Second
You
one.
didn't over.
So second one,
You
B.
didn't
Yes,
oversleep.
yes. Second one will be the case. That's what I was checking. So second one will be the case. You didn't oversleep, because the clause are that you if you oversleep, you will be late. So since you are not late, you didn't oversleep. Okay, so this will be the cross. Okay. So I can cross it now here. Sorry. Okay. So this will be the case. Okay. So the next one is just the opposite. That is, if you overslept, you will be late. So you didn't oversleep. So what will be the case here? This you can understand very easily. Like,
You oversleep, you will be late. You didn't oversleep,
yeah.
you oversleep, you will be late.
B.
B.
B
B.
or B. Okay.
A.
Okay. So the clause or the premises are that if you overslept, you will be late. The clause premises are same. If you overslept, you will be late. But the earlier case it was you are not late, and here you didn't oversleep. So what will be the thing that if you didn't oversleep, then you are not late. But here saying you are late. So this is first one is discarded. Second is saying you are not late. So you didn't oversleep. So obviously you are not late. Third one that so third one is you did oversleep, but it is already given that you didn't oversleep. So all three are discarded. So the answer will be none of the follows. Right? Okay. So now I'm coming to the next part, that is validity. What is validity? Validity is about the way the premises relate to each other and the conclusion. So the relation between the premises that is given, and that will help you to reach out the final conclusion. This is a different concept from research validity.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir,
Okay.
sorry to interrupt. The second example which you gave just now, the answer should be B, right? And not the last one. None of the this. You didn't oversleep, so you are not late, correct? It's just the opposite of the premise statement.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I think I have missed that. Yeah. I
It is the
think.
second one. Yes, second
Yeah.
one.
It will be the second one, of course.
It will be second one.
It will be the second one. Right. Right. You're right. So it will be. I mean, see my cursor. I can't. So you are not late. So the answer will be you are not late. It is not the none of the above cases. Okay. So yeah, that's I think my fault. Actually, the answers were chosen in that way only, that so that you can figure out. So yeah, that's I missed maybe. Okay. So now I'm coming to the
So, but in
validity.
the discussion,
Yeah.
in the
Please.
previous question,
Mm-hmm.
in the videos, it is said that if you dip the copper piece in the vinegar, it turns green. That was the case. It is like that. If you overslept, you will be late. It
Yes,
is
the
like that.
answer should be
So,
D. None of this is
No,
correct
no,
answer actually.
then it becomes, if you don't dip the copper in the vinegar, is it become like that? It will not be green. There are other reasons. It is not green. For many reasons it may not be green. For many reasons it may be green. But here, if you are not oversleep, you are not didn't oversleep doesn't mean that you are late. there are other reasons to be late.
Right.
The reasoning will not work either ways. That is what
That is true.
in the video it was
Yes, sir.
said. The
Answer
example
should
was
be
given
D.
was
So yeah, so then
the answer should be
answer should be D. Okay, I
correct.
understand.
The answer should
Yeah. So so for the first test, can you elaborate? For the first example,
huh.
if you overslept, you will be late. So you are not late. So in that case, so what did the thing that we concluded? So so very correct or
No,
not?
no, that is the inference.
Yeah, it is
Then
inference.
uh,
So can I elaborate?
yeah, uh,
Here, if we
yeah,
assume A is if you overslept and B is you are late, then not B means you are not late. So not B implies not A. But in the second question, A is oversleep and B is you are late. But not A does not implies not B. It is in the videos.
Yes,
It is explained in
that
the
is true.
videos.
That is true. That is true. That is correct. So maybe it is lack of my understanding, but yeah. So so I think it will be better if we come in this. So these are just taken as an example. So it will be better if we come to this in the later part, right? That will help us in uh, solving these problems in a better way. So we'll see what happens in all those cases. Okay. So maybe yeah,
Then the option would have been like cannot say or cannot be determined. None of this cannot be option, right? The correct answer.
yeah. So
It
but
could have been cannot say or something like that. But
yeah. So
yes, you did not oversleep. You are not. That should be one of the possible answers.
yeah. So so none. So that's why it is none of this follows, na. So it is not. You cannot derive from this the conclusion from these given clauses. So that's why it is none of the given above 3 points is valid. So none of this follows. I didn't. I mean,
But sir, it is also told that whatever means if A implies B and B implies A, then even though we know the in reality or just by our common sense that this could be the answer, but we should stick.
yeah, but I understand. But the problem is here the D. I mean, if none of these are following, if any the three of the point that is
In
given, so that is not
answer then
following.
unless
Then
like we have all set of options which are
yes,
mutually exclusively comment on the say few questions from the assignment too. They are like that. Even though it implies from the common sense, sometimes it is. If we are ticking that using that, the answer is incorrect. But at
yeah,
other places, it is exactly opposite.
that's where these logical things, I mean logical reasoning and I mean solving the different techniques are there, right? Like this Venn diagram and also those are there. So that's where those will help you to discard some the possibilities that are not valid, and you'll reach to this logical answer. So I think now we'll discuss that. We'll discuss these Venn diagrams and all probably in the next class, not today. So now I'll go further. I think I'll try to finish these things discussing. Okay. So these definitions and all this, I mean, I think that will be helpful. So, so what is validity? So you know now. Okay, so an argument is valid if it would be contradictory to have the premises all true and then conclusion is and the conclusion false. Valid doesn't say that the premises are true, but only that the conclusion follows from them. If the premises were all true, then the conclusion would have to be true. Like right. So like if you overslept, you will be late. You are not late, so you didn't oversleep. So if A, then B valid. If not B, then that is not A. That we are discussing. If it is not B, then it is not A also. But if it is A, then it will be B. So if premises are all true, then the conclusion have to be true. But but the premises have to be true or I mean it cannot. I mean it cannot. It will be contradictory to have the premises are true and the conclusion is false. It cannot be like if the conclusion is true, then the premises are true, and the other way around. So another is that if you are in France, you are in Europe. If and you are not in France, so you are not in Europe. So like that. Now some examples. Example one is that valid but untrue. That is the deductive argument. So I'll come to inductive and deductive things. So first example is that if there is rainbow, flights get cancelled. So there is a rainbow now. So therefore flights are cancelled. So this is the first one. So these are valid and deductive. Second is all chili peppers are spicy. Tomatoes are chili pepper, so therefore tomatoes are spicy. So both of these arguments are valid even though the premises are completely made up. They relate to each other in a way where you can justifiably infer the conclusion. So conclusion can be justified by the interrelation between the first two premises that is given. So that's why these are valid. And I'm coming to the invalid deductive arguments. So all leopards have spots. My pet gecko has spots. So therefore, my pet gecko is a leopard. So these are invalidly, or rather, these these are invalid because these premises are not interrelated. Second one is all US presidents live in the White House. Barack Obama lived in the White House. Therefore, Barack Obama was a US president. It doesn't mean like, right? So that's why these arguments are invalid. Now I'm coming to the next part, soundness. An argument is sound only if it's valid and the premises are true. All invalid arguments are unsound. So for argument to be sound, the premises has to be true. The second one is if you begin with true premises and a valid argument, you are bound to come to true conclusion. So if your premises are true and the argument is true, valid, then you will reach to the right or true conclusion. Examples: sound deductive reasoning. First one is flights gets cancelled when there are extreme weather conditions. There are extreme weather conditions right now. So this is the premises. This is the fact, and the conclusion is therefore flights are cancelled. Second is all fruits are grown from flowers and contain seeds. Tomatoes are grown from flowers and contain seeds. Therefore, tomatoes are fruits. So, I mean, these are clear, right? Okay, now coming to some this kind of examples. I'm taking it from some book. So first one is some valid arguments contain only true proposition, true premises, and a true conclusion. So all mammals have lungs. All whales are mammals. So therefore all whales have lungs. So the clause is some valid arguments contain only true propositions, true premises, and a true conclusion. So here you can see that there are the relations between the two premises. All mammals have lungs. All whales are mammals, so therefore whales have lungs. Second one, some valid arguments contain only false propositions, false premises, and a false conclusion. Like all four-legged creatures have wings. All spiders have exactly four legs. Therefore, all spiders have wings. So, although this argument is valid, but the propositions are false, and therefore the conclusions are false. So this argument is valid because if its premises were true, its conclusion would have to be true also, even though we know that in fact both the premises and the conclusion of the things are false. So now that is the case. Third one, some invalid arguments contain only true propositions. All their premises are true and therefore conclusions are true. So if I owned all the gold in Fort Knox, then I would be wealthy. I do not own all the gold in Fort Knox, therefore I am not wealthy. Okay? So the true conclusion of the argument does not follow from its true premises. This will be seen more clearly when the immediately following illustration is considered. Like, so there was illustration, so that is not given here. So so you can understand, right? So the argument is invalid, but their propositions are true. So that's why. Uh, so this is not conclusive. I mean, this conclusion is true. The fourth one is some invalid arguments contain only true propositions and have a false conclusion. This is illustrated by an argument exactly like the previous one. So, if Bill Gates owned all the golds in Fort Knox, then Bill Gates would be wealthy. Bill Gates does not own all the gold in Fort Knox, therefore Bill Gates is not wealthy. Now the conclusion is, you can see, that is not true. So the premise of the argument is true, but the conclusion is false. Such an argument cannot be valid because it is impossible for the premises of a valid argument to be true and its conclusions to be false. Once the conclusion is false, then the premises cannot be true. So it means that, so these premises are false. That's why the conclusion is false as well. Next one, some valid arguments have false premises and a true conclusion. All fishes are mammals. All whales are fishes. Therefore, all whales are mammals. So the premises are all fishes are mammals. All whales are fishes. So here, if you notice, the conclusion of the argument is true. Therefore, the whales are mammals. As we know, moreover, it may be validly inferred from these premises because both of which are, I mean, false. The fishes are, I mean, so yeah. So now the next one is some invalid arguments also have false premises and true conclusion. Like first one is all mammals have, so in arguments are invalid and premises for are false, but the conclusion is true. All mammals have wings. All whales have wings. Therefore, the whales are mammals. All whales are mammals. So all whales are mammals. This conclusion is all whales are mammals. So this conclusion is true. Okay. Now all mammals have wings. This argument is false, and the premise that all whales have wings, this is also false. So that's, but that conclusion, or I mean, although this argument is invalid and the premise that is given, that is false, but even though it is coming to a correct conclusion, that is whales are mammals. Now coming to the next one, some invalid arguments, of course, contain all false propositions. So propositions are all false, and an argument is invalid. So then the conclusion is also false. All mammals have wings. All whales have wings. Therefore, all mammals are whales. So in earlier case, it was all whales are mammals. But here you can see this is reversed. All mammals are whales. So this is also not true. So here the thing is premises are invalid, premises are false, proposition is argument is invalid, and the conclusion is also false. So these are some kinds that you can see. So this can lead you to the true conclusion or false conclusion, irrespective of the whether the argument is valid or invalid, or this false or true, the premises. Now I'll come to this inductive and deductive reasoning that you will see. So this is very important. So basically, what is deductive reasoning? Deductive reasoning is, or deductive argument is, claims to be provide conclusive ground for its conclusion. It does not provide such grounds. It is valid. If it does not, it is invalid. So deductive argument comes from broader sample size to a single or to a single conclusion. An inductive argument is just the opposite. An inductive argument claims that its premises give only some degree of probability, but not certainly to its conclusion. So in that case, this is just the opposite. So basically, what is the case? These are Generally, so inductive
It is
is,
specific to general.
yeah, specific to
Specific to
general.
general.
That is
Inductive.
the case for inductive, but for the deductive case, it is
Inductive.
from,
Opposite. Uh,
yeah,
it is general,
general to
general
specific.
to.
Specific, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now some definition or some different section that is there for this inductive reasoning, that is generalized inductive and predictive. In case of generalized, you can see one example. There are total 20 apples and oranges in a basket. I pulled out five, four apples and one orange. So therefore there are 16 apples and four orange in the basket. So this is generalized reasoning. But for predictive inductive reasoning is most baseball players become coaches. Eduardo is a baseball player, so he'll be a coach. So this is pretty generalized thing, so that you understand now. Now for the deductive cases, what is the deductive? That is the opposite. In a simple deductive logic argument, you will often begin with a premise and add another premise. Then you'll go to a conclusion. So deductive is you are analyzing a thing, and depending upon the facts and clause and reasonings. You are coming to derivation, a specific derivation. So this is the fact, or this is even state at that point. So it's the premise conclusion. So that is the case for deductive. This is from very general to coming to this very specific conclusion. So premise is all insects have exactly six legs, and premise and second is spiders have eight legs. So therefore, spiders are not insects. Okay. So these are the what will I say exception, and so then the conclusion is that spiders are not insects. Second is blue litmus paper turns red in the presence of acid, and second consecutive is blue litmus paper turned red after I dropped some liquid on it, so therefore the liquid is acidic. So okay, so I think your conclusion is coming based upon this reasoning and deduction. So now, deductive reasoning starts with a general assumption and applies logic, and then tests the logic, and let's coming to this final conclusion. So logically, there are two parts again: logically sound and logically unsound. Sound, how we have read. Now, the logically sound deductive reasoning is all dogs have ears. Golden retrievers are dogs, so therefore they have ears. Okay, so this is logically sound. Okay. All racing cars must go over 8 mile per hour. So the Dodge Charge is a racing car, therefore it can go over 80 mile per hour. Third one is the Christmas is always on December 25th, 2 days December 25th. So therefore it is 2 days Christmas. Now these are all logically sound. For logically unsound thing, all zebras have stripes, tigers have stripes, so therefore tigers are zebras. So these are logically unsound. This ground is wrong. 4th of July always has fireworks. Today there are fireworks, so therefore it's 4th of July. Carrots are oranges. Oranges are oranges. Therefore, oranges are carrots. So I mean, you can understand, right? So they're logically unsound. Now, three parts of deductive reasoning is there. That is syllogism, modus ponens, and modus tollens. So you have read these things in the sir have described already. I will just state one by one. What is syllogism? Syllogism is probably the most simple of these three types of this deductive reasoning. And so it simply says that when A is B and B is C, then A is C. It takes two separate clause and connects them together. A is more creative example. A more creative example would be a puma is a cat. Cats are mammals, so therefore pumas are mammals. So these are syllogism. Second is coming is modus ponens. Modus ponens is when a when a deduction is presented in a conditional statement proven by subsequent clauses. Okay, so for example, every player on a Boston Celtics is between the age of 21 and 31. Jason Tatum is on the Boston Celtics, so therefore he must be within that age limit. So that is the modus ponens. So uh, so it's presented a conditional statement proven by subsequent clauses. So now modus tollens is the opposite of a modus ponens. Whereas the latter affirms a conditional statement, the former refutes it. For example, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It is hotter than 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so water will not freeze. Okay, so it is not so the conclusion is that so the second argument is that is refuting the first one. So the freezing point of the water is 32, so it is hotter than the 32 degree Fahrenheit, so water will not freeze. So okay, so these are the few examples of this modus ponens and modus tollens. Now uh, this is a part that I will not stress, but this is important. I'll just tell very quickly that deductive reasoning in research. So, deductive reasoning is commonly used in scientific research for associative and quantitative research that that it describes. So, in research, you might have come across something called hypothetical deductive method, like hypothesis, then deduction, and then coming to the conclusion. Is so as an example, you can say that when you do some work or do some project, you will first you work your work is an organizational researcher as a at a large insurance organization. So currently the organization is dealing with increasing levels of employees burnout, and you are tasked with finding a solution to this problem. Here are the general steps for deductive research. So these are your parameters. So select a research problem and create a problem statement. Then develop a falsifiable hypothesis. Collect your data, analyze the dataset, and deduce whether you reject or a null hypothesis, like you are accepting the your hypothesis that is correct or wrong. So that is the deductive. That is the part in research that is generally employed for this all kind of research things. Now, what is the advantages and disadvantages of this inductive reasoning? I'll just state one by one. There are lots of them for both inductive as well as in the deductive cases. So for the inductive cases, you have seen that is for research purpose. Always deductive reasoning is important, but here I will show some importance for the accuracy. When you have a big number of sample set, and then inductive reasoning is always help for highly accurate in developing the ideas. But that is the cons also in that case. How is that? Because when you generalize a bigger number of samples, so the pros in terms that it will help you generalize or give a statement based upon a large number of samples. But in case of that might be true or false. So that is the cons actually. So when once it is false, you are generalizing based upon a large number of data sets. So in that case, this is false. So that is the drawback of that thing. So broader sample size is another thing, and targeted investigation. But whereas for the cons, so these are like accuracy is not accurate, incorrect conclusion, that is another derivation of this accuracy, and stereotyping. Stereotyping is like the is reasoning leads to a stereotyping and unnatural assumptions about propulsions like populations that have not been directly examined as in the case. So we have not even examined all the data sets, but we are concluding towards a generalized thing. So now that is a stereotype. So basically the same thing, but these are the different kind of parameters or different kind of taglines, or we can say. So these are the cons. Okay, now advantage disadvantage for this deductive reasoning. Obviously this is the most prominent, and there are many. So pros are like certainty, clarity, validity, generality, efficiency, objectivity, and testability. And cons of this deductive reasoning are limited to logical mathematical subjects. So pros, I think you understand. The cause is the problematic. So the deductive method is most effective in subjects that are based on logical reasoning. Okay. Second one is the lack of someone unmuted want to say something. Okay, then please mute. Lack of creativity, as the deductive method follows a set of rules and procedures. It can be seen as a rigid and inflexible method. It may stifle creativity and discourage students from thinking outside the box. So this is the case that when you are logically thinking, then that's something out of the box or something new that is not probable based upon our past experiences or past reasons, but still some kind of serendipitous finding that happens, that has happened in the research always. So that kind of thing might be restricted in case of deductive reasoning. Third one is limited to factual information. The method is based on the facts and logical reasoning, which makes it reliable and objective. However, the method may not be suitable for subjects that rely more on personal opinion and subjective interpretation. So it is basically subject to subject variation. When in that case, this is not fact based, but rather when the subject is changing, this is also changing. But in that case also we are deriving to the conclusion based upon those known facts. So that's why we are not changing that. So that is a limitation. Now, limited to premises, the validity of a deductive argument is dependent on the truth of its premises. If the premises are false, the conclusion is also false, regardless of the logical form of argument. This means that deductive reasoning is limited by accuracy of information and assumption used as premises. Okay. Now assumes complete knowledge. Deductive reasoning assumes that the person making the argument has complete knowledge of subject at hand and all relevant informations. In reality, this assumption is often not met, leading to invalid conclusions. So the thing is that assumptions is taken as knowledge, and that is not, that is leading to the conclusion that is, although these are related and coming actually interconnected based upon the premises and the arguments, but the conclusion is actually invalid, although those are dependent upon that. But that is, since we are following those set of rules for this reasoning, although it is logically correct, but it is the conclusion is actually invalid. Some last point is, can overlook alternatives. Deductive reasoning can lead to overlooking alternative possibilities and perspectives, as it focuses on reaching a single logical conclusion based upon given premises. So there might be some residual parts or some derivative parts apart from a true or single conclusion. So in that case, that might be overlooked. So these are the some drawbacks. Although I would say that deductive reasoning is the fact that we employ in scientific research that is the most helpful for this kind of things. Okay. Now I'll directly. I think we have discussed enough. There are many parts that I will that is left in today's discussion that I'll I'd like to discuss in the next section or the next day. Mostly these those things, that is this Venn diagram, a problem solving depending on this Venn diagram, that is very important, and some questions are there also in the second assignment that is there that we have solved also. But so that we'll discuss in the next section. Today we'll discuss only the answers of these assignments and the Venn diagrams, and there are some other techniques, that the star method. So all these things that we'll discuss in the next segment. Okay. So I'll directly come to this assignment part of the second assignment. So these were the question, that first question, that if it is given that if copper is dipped in vinegar, then copper turns green. So the answer, that was the problem, right? So you can understand now, this is a multiple answers are there. So the answer that is given is, okay, so options, let me see first. If copper is not dipped in vinegar, then copper does not turn green. So the clue or the premises is, if copper is dipped in vinegar, then copper turns green. The first one is saying, if copper is not dipped in vinegar, then copper does not turn green. Second one is, if copper turned green, then it must have been dipped in vinegar. Third one is, if copper did not turn green, then copper was not dipped in vinegar. If copper is dipped in vinegar, then copper must turn green. So uh, let me see the answers. The answer is, if copper did not turn green, then copper was not dipped in vinegar. So that is the point number. If copper did not turn green, then it was not dipped in vinegar, because the argument is that, or the premise is that, if copper dipped in vinegar, then copper turns green. Okay, so it is evident that if copper did not turn green, then copper was not dipped in vinegar. Second is, if copper is dipped in vinegar, then copper must turn green, because this is directly we can derive, right? If copper is dipped in vinegar, then copper must turn green. So that is the case. That is the last one. That is true. Now the tricky part is that, if copper did not turn green, then copper was not dipped in vinegar. So I think this is clear now, but still I'll try to describe it in more detail in the maybe in the next week. Now an interesting question is coming, that you can see that if the concentration of CFC, or the chlorofluorocarbon in the air, exceeds a threshold, there will be a hole in the ozone layer. Statement 2. If there is a hole in the ozone layer, a large amount of ultraviolet radiation will reach Earth's surface. Ultraviolet radiation causes cancer. So, what conclusion can you draw using valid logic if the following premises is also given? There is an increase in CFC in air beyond the threshold. Okay, so there is an increase in CFC in the air beyond the threshold. Okay, so what is given? The first is given that, if concentration of CFC exceeds a threshold, there will be a hole in the ozone layer. Secondly, so if, I mean, now anyone can explain what can be the, what or what will be the, yes.
So for the first question, can you please explain why first two options cannot be the answer?
Sorry.
Because all the statements, or the options for question number one, more or less means the same. So why only option three and four? Why not first two? Even though it is multiple selection.
Yeah, that's what I said. Na? So when once I'll describe all those methods, and it will be easier for you to understand. So that I'll do in the next class or the next session. So that will be helpful. That's why I'm reserving that question for now. So
Okay,
we'll
okay.
discuss that. Yeah.
What is the
So
answer, Chandra?
sorry.
Chandra, what is the answer? Third and fourth, is it?
Okay, so that also I'm just asking. So describe yourself. I mean, whatever you understand. So based upon that, we'll see what is the answer. Uh, okay, I mean, I'll show you what is the answer. The answer is, there is a hole in the ozone layer. So that is the first one, and second one is, the incidence of cancer has increased. So are you okay with that, or any confusion based upon the conclusion? So So there is an increase in the CFC in the air beyond the threshold. It means, since CFC is increased, so there is a hole in the ozone layer, because it is saying that the concentration of CFC of air exceeds only when there is a hole. So it means there is a hole in the ozone layer, because CFC is increased beyond the threshold. Second one is, death rate is increased. So what they have mentioned, that if there is a hole in the ozone layer, a large amount of ultraviolet radiation will reach Earth's surface, and ultraviolet cause cancer. But it is not directly saying that, but death rate is increased, but it can be related to something else. So that's why it can be discarded. Third one is there is a very small amount of ultraviolet radiation in Earth's surface. So if it is a small amount of radiation, then CFC wouldn't have been increased beyond the threshold. So then this second and third can be discarded, and the fourth one and the first one, the incidence of the cancer is increased, can be accepted, and that is the answer. Now, I mean, you have seen that this same question is same sort of statements are there. Only the arguments and the premises have been changed. So the statements are same. If the concentration of CFC in the air exceeds threshold, there will be hole in the ozone layer. If there is a hole in the ozone layer, a larger amount of UV radiation will reach Earth's surface. Ultraviolet radiation causes cancer. Now, what conclusion can draw using uh, are you saying anything? Please mute
Honestly,
yourself.
please mute your.
Okay, okay. Please mute yourself. Who is that? Uh, Dhanasri, please mute yourself. Dhanasri, can you hear us? Hello.
Sir, I think you can mute her, sir.
Sorry.
So you can on your side mute her. I think she's
I
not aware
can.
that she's on. Like,
Okay. It's okay, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So the what conclusion can you draw using the valid logic if following premises are there? And the premises is a statistical survey showed that the incidence of cancer has increased. Okay. Now, incidence of cancer has increased. It means that it is directly related to UV ray, and UV ray is related to ozone layer, and ozone layer is related to CFC. Okay. Now, see. So the first thing is that there is an increase in CFC in the air beyond the threshold. Second is there is a hole in the ozone layer. Third is there is a very large amount of UV radiation in on Earth's surface. So the answer that is given is none of the above. Why is that? So let me clarify first. There is an increase in the CFC in the air beyond the threshold. Statistical. What conclusion can you draw? A statistical survey showed that that the incidence of cancer has increased. So once cancer has increased, it uh, it can be related to UV or it might not. Okay. Therefore, there is a hole in the ozone layer. So, since cancer has, so the premises that is given uh, that cancer has increased, since they are not concluding that it is related to this phenomena of this UV radiation. So then these other points are becoming illogical. Okay, now there is a increase in CFC, there is a hole in ozone layer, there is a very large amount of UV. So this would have been true once they could have concluded something that is related to any of the phenomena. Since now none of these are related, so that's why they are concluding that none of the above are correct. Because cancer can also happen from some other phenomena as well. It is not limited to this phenomena only. Okay.
So which
But
method should we use?
Sorry.
ultraviolet is also one of the reason to increase cancer.
The third statement, sir.
Third
UV rays
segment.
causes cancer is a third statement. So which method should we use? Venn diagram or like
Yeah, I think
how do we
in
come to
this.
this conclusion?
Yeah, I think Venn diagram will not help here that much, but I think it is better if we discuss all these things in the next section. First, we describe all these
Okay, sir.
methods,
Okay, sir.
then
That is better.
discussing these
Yes.
questions will be better. So I think in that case, I think we can conclude today, right? I think that will be helpful
Particularly
for
in
you.
this perspective,
Yes,
I
sir.
think
Because
that
look,
third
unit
one
2
is
is very
correct answer.
confusing.
Sir,
Uh,
hello. I think we must sure about the concept. We must clear the concept behind it because
yeah,
it is
that's why
all confusing.
I'm saying. Yeah. So
Because
once I
Because
describe
we
all
are
these,
discussing the things based on these premises, and based
yes,
on these
yes, correct,
premises,
correct,
third should be the clear, correct answer.
yes, correct. So that's
because
what
because
I'm.
all the questions they are based on the premises. It's not like that the cancer will cause
Yeah,
with
it
some
is.
other elements or some factors. Not like- These are all the confusion inference we draw on the basis of the premises of the statement given.
I understand. That's what I'm saying.
Based
So
on these
Yeah. So we should
sentences,
have
a
a
statistical survey showed that the incident cancer has increased. So based on these premises, we can conclude third one only.
yeah, the ultraviolet they are responsible.
I understand. I understand. Okay, so
Uh,
that's why I'm saying
presence
that
of
I
KFC,
am. I understand your
But the answer is none
confusion.
of the above, na, sir. So that is how it is correct.
The answer is
None
none
of the
of the
above.
above. Okay, that is okay. That is fair. But so that's why I'm saying that we'll discuss about these different methods to derive this kind of problems or tackle this kind of problems. Then only we'll discuss all these things. Okay, Venn diagrams and the
Okay.
star methods and all these things.
Okay. That
We'll
will be
discuss
nice. Yeah.
first. Yeah. Okay. So then I'm concluding for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Maybe other tiers, those they might also discuss all these things. I don't know how they are preparing for this week. They might discuss some Venn diagram and solve, but I'll discuss all these Venn diagrams and these different methods for tackling these problems in the next week, and then we'll solve these problems in the next week also. Okay.
Okay. Sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all. Stop sharing. Uh, yeah, Rohit. Yeah, Rohit.
Sir, I have one doubt. When the next lecture, our next lecture will be going. Is it tomorrow or next week?
See, so in every week there are three lectures. Okay, so for
Yes.
mine will be again in the next Saturday. So one is there
Okay.
in tomorrow, and other is there in on next coming Tuesday. So there are three total.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, so remaining questions we will see in the next lecture.
I'll discuss because all three of us are discussing in different ways. So I don't know
Yes.
how
Yes.
they
Yes.
are different. So I'll discuss all this in the next lecture.
Yes, because that these questions are very confusing type of one.
Yes, yes,
Explanation is more explanation is needed for
yeah.
that.
That's
So
why these
that
methods will be more useful for you.
yes.
Yes.
In detailed explanation as well as more examples, so that very we can get more from that.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.